Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Sunday Combo. Today, we're chatting with Sophia, and you guys might know her from Instagram. And if not, you are in for a sweet treat. We're going to be diving into what life is like in New York, what dating is like, and just what being Catholic is like for Sophia. So, Sophia, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing so well, Mary. Thank you so much for having me on. I just absolutely adore getting to chat with you, Mary. And we've been friends for so long that this just feels like so natural and literally like we're FaceTiming. So I guess everyone's going to kind of get to like listen in on one of our FaceTimes, basically. So if you're nosy like that, then enjoy.
It's so funny because we do know each other. Like, sometimes in the Catholic Instagram world, you're like, "Do people actually know each other?" And the truth is we do, and we know each other pretty well.
Yes, yeah. For we met almost like
So
8 years ago.
yeah,
So
2018?
2018. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Wow. So, we know each other. And I was a missionary where you went to college. And did you ever think that your faith would be as important as it is now?
Going to college in 2018, I desperately wanted my faith to be super, super important to me. And I just remember like being so hungry for the faith. And I would see kind of like girls on Instagram or like girls in college, like sorority girls or something, like having Bible studies or sort of being involved in like this cool world of like their Newman Center and stuff. And I just remember like wishing and dreaming and hoping and praying for that kind of community with other women and just like with friends, and the idea of like having a cool priest that you're friends with and deepening your prayer life. Like I desired that so much. And so I don't know that I ever would have been able to predict that my faith would really be the foundation of like everything that I do now in my life. And like my entire community in New York is almost all people that I met through the faith and through the Catholic community here. But that's what I wanted. It's what I wanted and what I think that I did not even believe I could ever have 'cause it like seemed too good to be true. But yeah.
I love that. Yeah, and now you're in New York and you get to live out your faith in New York too. How has that been for you? Just being in the city and being Catholic?
This city right now is like something is happening here that I think I anticipate, and I really hope and pray Catholics in the future. Like I just kind of there's like the spirit of revival here and this spirit of this big movement back towards Catholicism, specifically with young adults. And I think in like a couple hundred years, people will be saying like, wow, like the Catholic revival with the youth, like starting in New York, and we see it across other dioceses, of course. And I know Chicago is experiencing a lot of revival, and overall, like young people, Gen Z is going to mass more and is more religious than previous generations. So across the globe, there's this trend, but it's been so dramatic in New York, and so it's just been the coolest thing to be a part of.
Do you feel like that was different from even when you moved there a few years ago? Like, have you noticed the change gradually, or did it just happen all at one time?
I think it's been kind of a slow and steady build. I remember when I first moved here, there was tons of great Catholic community, but in the past year or so, it's just been like a really dramatic increase.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I see it all the time on social media. And I mean, you're part of the reason that it is growing so much. I mean, I feel like social media has to play a huge role in it. Do you feel the same way? Like social media has definitely helped a little bit?
A lot of people that I talk to when I ask, like, "Oh, are you new to this parish?" or "What mass you usually go to? How'd you find out about this?" They say that they like their mom sent them something on Instagram or that they found out about the parish that I go to from TikTok or Instagram Reels or something. And so or like their friend invited them or something. So it's all very like social, either social media or something in person. But people are discovering Catholic community through Instagram and TikTok for sure.
And what inspired you to also create content? What was it that maybe inspired you to say, like, yeah, I'm going to share my faith with others and maybe somebody who I never meet might see my reel and feel called to go to church?
There wasn't a specific moment where I sat down and I was like, I'm going to create Catholic content so that more people will go to mass. For a long time, and Mary has like really been a part of this journey and has been such a mentor and a friend in this. For a long time, I have been sort of balancing the fact that I'm very creative. I have always kind of worked in the arts. I love performance and creation and storytelling. And then I also have a big love for evangelization and for the church. If I could just chat with girls all the time about like, come to adoration with me, come to mass with me, like, let's make this fun, let's get brunch before something, like just chatting with people about that. Like, that's like my big love is just like, I love evangelization and I love being creative. And so I've always kind of done both. And sometimes there's been like a little overlap, but for a long time, it felt kind of like impossible. Like, how in the world do I do the creative things that I'm doing that are often in such a secular world? How do I blend that with my faith and my love for evangelization and like just my desire to be a missionary in everything that I do? I think it just sort of like naturally fell into place, AKA the Holy Spirit. But like I
And
basically I feel like I always kind of did a little bit of like I'd like post
you
something on
you
like
really have.
then I like to be creative, but then I just kind of started posting a little more and I was like just sharing my life. And anytime I posted anything Catholic, it kind of blew up. And I realized how much like people really love seeing that content. I mean, that's the kind of content I consume, but it happened very naturally and was not planned. So
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. No, I've seen that, and I feel like yeah, I remember back in the day, I don't know why I remember this, but you had, like, this Amazon
Yeah.
influence. Do you remember that video? Yeah,
Yeah.
you, like, totally were a little Amazon influencer, and I remember looking at that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And then yeah, wow, we both kind of got into the social media world, but it's so beautiful just to hear how that's been for you, and yeah, like, you're totally yourself, like, you're unapologetically just being self. Do you feel like it's been nice to have other Catholics who are also in the social media world? What's that like?
It's so awesome because I think sometimes being like I guess I'll say it like this. There were a lot of times in the past where I kind of felt like I was the crazy person for like being super extroverted or super crazy or like online in any way. And it's such a comfort to be around other Catholics who are also creative and want to be like, wait, like, let's make this video. Let's do this thing. I have this vision for how we can turn this trend into like a Catholic version of something. Our hearts are made for community and our hearts are made to like create things, like to be co creators with God and to have both creation and community come together is just like the best. It's such a gift.
Yeah, and I think that's the really beautiful thing that I'm noticing about New York is that you guys are creating content that's made to bring you into community. And I think that's something when I talk to people and even in my own life, I'm like, okay, yeah, like sometimes I'm just creating content and I'm like, how does this connect people? Like how does this bring people together? Or how does it lead them closer to Jesus? And yeah, that's like something I think every person on social media who's Catholic has to be thinking about is how do we do this? And sometimes, you do it and it's like, yeah, just for entertainment. But I know that your heart is so beautiful. And yeah, my heart too. Like, we're all just trying to make content that is good, true, and beautiful, right? It's really cool because I would say, like, just seeing the same people in the reels and the content has been really awesome. It's almost like we're following a story, right? Like we're following a story in New York and really that revival of the Holy Spirit. What a time to be in New York. Sometimes think I'm like, oh my gosh, do I want to move to New York? Like there's a part of me that's like, just do it. And then there's another part of me that's like, I don't know if I'm like made for New York. But did you ever think you would be there or no?
I always knew I wanted to be in New York.
Really? Self, did you?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. There were plenty of times where, like, I don't know if I always would have said that out loud, but, I was born in Connecticut. New York was, like, the first city that I visited and fell in love with, and I don't think there was a time where I ever didn't want to live in New York, if that makes sense. I think that, when I was in school and stuff, I was like, "Okay, well, it might not be the most reasonable thing to do. Maybe I would" there for a little bit, I was like, "I'll move to LA," or for a while, I lived in Chicago, and I kinda thought Chicago's good, but, like, New York would be, like, too overwhelming, but in terms of, like, what I really, really wanted and dreamed for my life, you know, those kind of dreams where you're like, you almost wouldn't even ask God for it. It's like, okay, like, this is, like, a crazy, crazy thing, and, like, I don't know if this could ever happen, but, like, maybe I will be able to this job or have this many kids or live in this city or travel the world or whatever it is, like, the kind of things that you're like, "I don't even think I can say this out loud," but, like, it's a deep desire. I think I've always kind of felt that way about New York.
so cool. Do you think you'll stay there?
I never want to leave anytime soon. Like,
Okay.
I think that I have to be open to the Lord's will. Jesus, help me be open to your will. The thought of not living here is, like, kind of soul crushing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's so cool, girl. I love that. It's so good. Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, like, I think anyone listening who is intrigued by the revival that's happening in the city, come visit. Like you said, maybe you are meant to live in New York. Maybe that is where your community is waiting for you. And I think even if you don't end up, you know, getting a lease and getting a job and then like moving everything over here, I recommend everybody who has a chance to take a summer weekend trip and come to the city and go to mass at one of these super packed parishes and experience like the spirit of the revival in real life. I meet tons of people every weekend who are like, yeah, I'm like visiting from like France and like I wanted to come to the viral parish or something like that. And my hope and my prayer is that like there can just be even more parishes like this all across the world and that people in their 20s standing literally outside of a church just to go to mass will like just become a commonplace thing. So come to New York and maybe you'll fall in love and move here, but also just come and visit. It's the best.
I'm so curious. We've talked about this a little bit, but like, what is it like to actually be in New York? Like, what is that experience like?
My gosh, it definitely is not for everyone. And Mary, like I would love to have you here, but like visit first. I would say anybody should just visit first. And I believe really strongly that New York chooses you. It's a city that chooses you. It's kind of like a saint. Like, you know, when you have a saint stalker friend and all of a sudden you're like, red roses are following me around everywhere. Okay, Saint Therese, we got to talk. Like, you just kind of find yourself being very drawn to it and chosen by it. That's kind of the only way I can describe it. There are so many extremely, extremely particular New York things that are like, you just, any other city, even other major cities, are not going to have. And that could be both frustrating and charming. And for people who like absolutely love New York, it's just like part of it and you just like enjoy it and embrace it and embrace the insanity and the struggle. But it's beautiful. It's lots of fun and crazy all at the same time.
There was one time we were talking and you were saying that every day you wake up and it's just a new adventure. Like
Yes.
you know that you're in New York and that you're just going to go out there and get your coffee and you're just gonna enter into whatever happens that day. And I thought about that and I was like, that is so different than the suburbs. So different, but very New York.
Yeah, I do feel like I could just like walk outside my front door and like literally and an adventure will happen. I don't know what it will be, but it will be something. Even
Yeah,
just like going like taking the subway to commute to work or something, like something's gonna happen. Like you just yeah,
you might see a mouse.
a rat, girl.
Oh, excuse me.
Rat.
My New York language is very limited. Sophia has taught me a little bit about New York, and I feel like I'm constantly learning.
A rat like as big as like a squirrel.
No, really?
Rat I've seen some big rats, like, as big as, like a small cat or something almost.
That's
Like a kitten.
disgusting.
Mhm.
Okay, so rats aside,
Yeah.
when it comes to like Sunday, what does that feel like? Like, what does a Sunday feel like in
Was
New York?
I do feel like it depends, and I have friends who definitely lean into more of, like, Sabbath, restful Sunday. But I do think, like, the idea of Sabbath, like, can be like, you need to rest from work, right? Like, we're called to do that. I struggle with it. To Sabbath can mean for some people, like, what's gonna fill their cup is they are gonna go to mass, they are gonna come home and make brunch in their kitchen. Maybe they will sit outside with a book and, like, they need to be by themselves, and they kind of need life to be slow and quiet, and that'll fill up their cup. For me, my cup is filled by being with other people. I'm such an extrovert. My Sunday looks a little bit more like mass and a social event, and then hang out with a friend, and then go to another social event. The amount of people in the Catholic community who will go to a mass at 11:30 in the morning, go to the social after that, do something in between with friends. Then they will go to a 6 or 7 p.m. mass and then go to the social after that. And then after that, then they will like go out and get a drink or go out to dinner at 8 p.m. And it's on a Sunday night. Like it is not atypical in New York for Catholics after an evening mass to stay out late on a Sunday night. Like it's just like super, super community based and like very social. Not everyone does though. Like I said, I have friends that lean a little bit more quiet vibes and some people that are definitely like their like relaxation time is more like with friends.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, you're such an extrovert for sure. Yeah. But I feel like that's so fun. I don't know. I would be with you most likely. Like I would probably have my rest time on Saturday and then on Sunday I'd probably be out and about chatting it up with people. But you were saying that when you guys go and get pizza afterwards, there's just like 200 people walking to mass, right?
Yes, there's this wonderful event that Anthony Gross and Kate DePietro have started. Anybody who's in the Catholic Instagram world, I'm sure has seen this. They have this event called Pizza to Pews that is essentially meeting up before a 6 p.m. mass. So we meet at like 4 o'clock and everyone gets pizza and it's like a pre-mass social. And then you walk like 100 or 200 people over to mass together. So we meet early enough that there's social time and you can observe your Eucharistic fast. And then the great thing is, I think a lot of parishes, even in like across the country, like I know at my Chicago parishes when I lived there, everything would always be post mass, and that's awesome. But the thing that Kate and Anthony have done so well is they've helped people who maybe are nervous about like, I don't know anyone, I don't know who I'm gonna sit with. And then at this post-mass social, I already had to sit by myself at mass. And now it's like, I don't know, it's like gonna be harder to go to this post-mass social because it seems like everyone already knows each other and I don't know them. And I was sitting by myself. But if you have an activity beforehand and people can kind of form little groups and friends beforehand, and you have like your activity of eating the pizza, and it's great because you can be like, oh, let's split a pizza. Like we'll go buy pizza together, then we'll split it. Then when you walk over to mass, you immediately have someone to sit with. And so it kind of like has captured, I think, people who want to go to mass with people, but maybe they're new to the city or something like that. So, yeah.
Such a good idea, yeah. I love that. Yeah, no, that's so true. Everything is always after mass, but so many times you're just wandering at the back of the church being like, "Who do I talk to? I don't know anyone." And yeah, like, you just went through an hour-long mass, right? So, you might be a little bit more tired or whatever it is, right? Like, maybe just more jittery, like, "I have to go, I need to go walking," or something. I don't know, I feel jittery after mass. And that's so interesting that they had it before. And yeah, I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, are you guys fasting?" But there's so much time to fast before
Yeah,
either.
yeah, and we get to the 6 p.m. mass. We leave around 5:30, so, there's you would have to bring food into the church to not observe an hour before receiving the Eucharist, but
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I have to ask because I feel like I've seen a lot of headlines about it in the news, actually, about the Catholic world. But a lot of the news articles are about finding your future spouse at pizza tippus. And I would just love to hear your thoughts on that and just what it's actually like being single in the city and going to these events. Like, what is the dating culture like? Are these events just to meet people, or are they very much aimed towards dating? Like, tell me more because I'm just so curious.
yeah, that definitely has been a theme that I think a lot of news coverage has highlighted. I mean, obviously, I think sort of similarly to, like a lot of post-mass or Catholic events like a YCP mixer or something. There are people there that are in relationships, but most people are single, right? So even when something isn't branded as Catholic speed dating, usually if you're going to like some sort of Catholic mixer or cocktail event or whatever, usually you're going single. I think everyone can kind of like agree with that.
Uh,
Once you're in a very like serious relationship, I think like I feel like you're not itching to go to like the YCP mixer or something. Love a YCP mixer. But you know what I mean? It's just sort of like you're doing different activities maybe. So definitely people who go there are for the most part single. Not everyone, of course, but I would say for the most part. And I'm sure that people are meeting other people there. I haven't yet, but but I'm sure it's totally happening. I think the nice thing about New York is that I think that as much as I'm certain that there are people on dating apps, and there are a lot more great Catholic dating apps now than there were kind of like when you and I first met and I was in college and you were right out of college and we were like kind of dating around. It was like Catholic Match or nothing. And there weren't very many Catholic Match users. So there's a lot more Catholic dating apps now. And I think that Hinge is kind of like accepted as like something that Catholic people use. So people are on dating apps. But the nice thing about New York is because it's so social, you really don't need a dating app. And it's very easy to approach and be approached in the New York Catholic community just because most people who are living and working in New York are going to lean a little more extroverted and lean a little more like comfortable with taking a risk. I don't know if that like kind of
yeah,
makes
that
sense.
was so crazy to me when we were talking about that one time on a phone call where you were like, "Yeah, people will just talk to you." Like, truly, that was mind-blowing to me.
Like at a dating event or like
No,
at a social
sorry.
event.
No, just, like, in public. Like, I think you were
Oh, like
saying
in New York.
the subway or if you're just walking, like, people are more open to talking to you, but I would also say maybe, like, in Catholic circles too, maybe there's less of a awkwardness or hesitation to talk to people because of the people who naturally live in New York versus maybe a smaller city or a suburb or a rural area. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
There's totally a culture here in New York of you can talk to anybody at any time. It's like no big deal. Like
Yeah.
the amount of times that like you can just be on the subway and chat with somebody or on the street. The amount of times that like you could be waiting in line for something or literally standing on a street corner and you just like people spark conversation all the time. And I think that that definitely affects like the Catholic social life. You can talk to anybody. Just introduce yourself or comment about something. And it's super easy to just chat with people. And I think that people are very open to it here. Is it less like that in the Midwest?
I would
My reflection is that people are a little more guarded, even
yeah.
in Catholic community.
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like being in a suburb, it's just harder to have that community. I know it's out there and I've been trying to find it a little bit more, but unless you're in the city, like I went to St. Clement's. It's
Yeah.
St. Clement's, right? Yeah. One time and I was amazed. There were so many people there. And yeah, it was so easy to just chat it up with people. But I will say in the suburbs, definitely a little bit different. But even when I lived in Grand Rapids, I'm trying to remember what that was like. Yeah, I feel like people would just come up and chat with you, but there's less people there. So I felt like a lot of it was people that you already knew, like people who are already established. Like we didn't have as many new people coming in. And I think that's probably the difference between a smaller city like Grand Rapids and then New York. Like you're
Mhm.
constantly probably meeting new people, where with Grand Rapids, yeah, it's like the same people at most events.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting. That was kind of my memory of even when I went to St. Clement's in Chicago. I think St. Clement's has grown a lot
They
as
have
a
yeah,
parish
yeah.
here in New York. So there's probably a lot more people now than there was in the past. Yeah, my memory was like there would be a little bit more like only people that kind of like knew each other would chat with each other, less like random straight
Yeah.
conversation. But, yeah, here in New York, there's definitely you can talk to anybody.
So what's it been like for you? Like what has it been like being single in the city?
Yeah, yeah. I think that, what I have been really, really grateful for is the fact that it is very easy to it's, like, very easy and just, like, not a big deal to be open to chatting with anyone, going on first dates. I think there's kind of a culture in New York City as a whole, and it kind of, like, has affected the Catholic dating world as well, where it's, like, not a big deal to go on a couple dates with someone, and it, like, doesn't have to be this whole, like, "Is he my husband?" thing. It can be, "Okay, we're just, like, young, we hit it off, we're both single, like, let's go get drinks or let's go get dinner or something." And I think that that's a really, really healthy way to approach dating, especially as a Catholic, because I know, especially for us women, it's very easy to have a crush on some guy, and then you literally write in your head your entire love story, your engagement, how many children you're gonna have, their names, whatever. And so by the and you and girl, he hasn't asked you out on a date. So like you have this story about from what? Like talking to him after mass for 5 minutes, right? He does not even know like how to spell your name. Like
He might not even know your
you
name.
might not even know
Straight
your name.
up.
Looks through, like, the WhatsApp chat to, like, find his little profile picture, and it's like, "Girl, you don't know him. You don't know him." A crush is a lack of information, and so, like, it's really easy to think a guy is cute and you don't know anything about him. You don't have information. You're filling in all this stuff about him. You, like, decide all these things, and then maybe you get to know him. Maybe he asks you on a date, and he, like, kinda disappoints you with his behavior, and you're hurt, but it's like it's not that he's acting, like, poorly. I mean, maybe he is, but it's not that he's, like, not the guy you thought he was. That's just who he is, and, like, you didn't know him, so you were, like, making this stuff up in your head. So I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
nice thing about a little more casual but respectful, of course, but more casual dating for, like, 1st, 2nd dates and sort of, like, pursuing each other is that, like, it's not that deep. Say yes to a date. I think New York culture is very much like you can go on, like, a Tuesday night date and, like, just get a glass of wine. It's, like, not that big of a deal. Just, like you just, like, do that after work, go hang out with your friends after. I mean, people stay up late, so, like, you know, that's definitely part of it. It's just not that deep, and I think that that is can be really, really freeing, especially for women.
Mm.
So, I've
Okay,
found
okay.
that to be positive.
Interesting.
Is it kind of like that in the Midwest or not really?
No, I personally I think it's very different just because
People are, like, more like, "We're going
yeah,
on a date."
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like there's very much this intensity of, okay, we're going on a date, let's figure this out. Maybe that's just been my experience and like the guys I'm going on dates with. But again, I'm mainly on the apps. And so I'm not necessarily meeting people. When you're on the apps, there's almost a sense of like, okay, we're planning, we're going to meet up. We know that this is a date. We know very much like, okay, we're going to see what happens. Okay, so guys are open. What are the guys like in New York? I know this is something we chat about a lot, but I know that you've said they're pretty focused on their jobs. And I feel like that's the same here, but maybe a different flavor when it comes to the guys in New York.
So, like, you in Chicago, I would say you will meet guys that are very focused on, like, their finance job or
Not
whatever.
the finance guys, literally the only job.
There's only one job to have in Chicago, and it's finance. And ironically, it's also the only job in New York. So it's crazy. The only job you can have if you're a man is in finance. I'm kidding, obviously. But the thing is, in Chicago, I do feel like by the time a guy's like 25, 26, he's like, okay, locking in, like, I wanna, and maybe obviously, like, they may not end up getting married or find someone that they really want to be serious with until like 30 or older, right? But I think that there's kind of like, okay, like around that age, like, I'm kind of done being post grad and like I'm gonna start dating more seriously or get on the apps in more of a serious way. There's definitely a broad spectrum in New York. What I will say is it is not uncommon to meet a guy in New York who is 35 or older who is like still so focused on work and so focused on just like, yeah, I guess career, and maybe they moved to New York only a couple years ago. Like, I think that just the timeline in New York is a little different because it's so expensive. Usually, if you've moved to New York for career, you have like sacrificed a lot to be here. And so you might be like really, really focused on hitting certain milestones before you want to do something like get married. And I do think that in general, most guys, they have like an idea of when they're going to be ready to settle down with someone. And it's kind of immovable. Like, as a woman, you can't, no matter how much he likes you, it's like the whole cab light theory. Have you heard of this?
I haven't,
It's
no.
originally from Sex in the City. It's basically, and I think this is just facts, true. I have never, ever, ever found this to be anything but completely
I'm
100% true.
so curious. What
Are
is
you
it?
ready?
I'm ready.
Essentially, it's this whole theory that, like, so cab lights, like a taxi cab in New York, if I think it's like if the cab light is off, so there's like little light above the car. If the cab light is off, that means that someone's in the taxi cab. So like you can't hail it. You can't be like, I need a taxi. If the cab light is on, that means it's open for business and you can hail it and it will come pick you up. Guys just either have their cab light on or off. So if it's off, if they like you, if you have great conversation together, whatever, like you might go on a couple of dates together, you might be great friends, but like there's nothing you can do to get him to turn his cap light on. If he's not ready for a serious relationship,
Uh-huh. Mhm.
he could be going out with Margot Robbie and he's going to be like, she's beautiful. I'm going to keep hanging out with her. I don't want to get married right now. There's nothing you can do. Nothing.
Nothing.
But once a guy's cap light is on, he's like, perfect, you'll do. You know what I mean? And it just like, and I think as women, we are a little more like, I kind of don't really want a boyfriend right now. And you like meet Steve, who's like the greatest guy ever and loves Jesus so much. And he pursues you so well. And you're like, Steve, you know what? For you, I will be your girlfriend. I feel so called to this. I love you so much. And then you get married to Steve and you have babies. I think guys are only going to want that if their cab light is on. There's nothing you can do.
Even if they're Catholic and they want to be married.
Yeah, but those are the kind of guys that you meet that are like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I can't wait to have like my 8 kids in my lake house, and I'm gonna have like a smoking hot wife, and it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. And maybe you guys go on a date or whatever, but like he clearly is not ready for that. Maybe he's very invested in work. maybe he just like it. I swear, I haven't watched it happen, but I just feel like something happens where one day a man wakes up and he's like, wife.
Do you think
Catholic
it's
guys or not Catholic guys.
do you feel like it's more so like he meets the right person and that's what
Mm.
inspires? Really? This is a hot take.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
wow.
happens. It happens. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe it's a little bit of both. My friend, so my friends, they met at speed dating. They're getting married this June. So I was originally friends with a girl, and then she met the guy at speed dating, and he talks about it. It's so interesting how he talks about it. He's like, I knew in that moment, like, I could either step up or not. He was like, "I talked to my spiritual director, I talked to some of my friends," and he almost blew it. Like, he almost, like, let his now fiancé walk away because he wasn't sure if he was, like, I don't wanna say strong enough, but yeah, like, strong enough or able enough or capable enough, and I know this is something I talk about a lot, but there's just so much pressure that these guys put on themselves, but it's interesting because it sounds like what you're saying with New York is, like, they're almost choosing the job over the potential of the relationship. It almost seems like they're avoiding a relationship to fulfill their dreams or, like, their goals, you would say?
I think it's more like they know that they wanna have a wife and kids one day, but they know that they're in a career that, like, it's extremely, extremely demanding, and so they're not gonna be able to, like, be present for that until they, in their minds, like, reach a certain goal, if that makes sense.
So you feel like you've run into that with dating?
I definitely think that it's just, like, a classic thing in New York that, like, you meet a guy who and I experienced this before in New York, but you can meet a guy who's great and maybe you go on dates and you hit it off or you become great friends, and it's clear that there's, like, attraction there, or I see this happen with friends all the time, but, like, the
Mm,
guy's gonna be interested in hanging out or in going on dates, but he's not gonna be ready to, like, make you his girlfriend. There's nothing you can really do about it, and I think,
mm.
like, what happened with your friend, like, that guy was ready. He wanted to have a
He
girlfriend and a
was
wife.
open. He
He
was
was
looking. He was
open and, like, I think his cab light was on.
yes.
He acknowledged that he had to step up, but I
Yeah.
think if his cab light was off, he would have been like, "She's the most beautiful girl in the world, and I can't do this."
So he would have still gone to speed dating, but he wouldn't have pursued her.
Uh, I don't know if he would have gone to speed dating, but if he had met her, but I feel like there are guys that go to speed dating that are like, don't
That's
actually know if they
weird.
wanna have a wife yet. Eventually they do, but
I'm almost curious if they're just, like, avoiding, and just, like, hiding behind a job. I don't know.
I don't know that they're avoiding anything. I think just like men are gonna be ready when they decide they're ready, and there's, like, nothing once they're ready, they're so ready, but there's nothing you can do to, like, change that.
To
It might
say
not even be that there's, like, an avoidant issue. It's just they have to have that moment where they wake up and are like, "I'm ready for a wife." I know this is, like, kind of a hot take. I believe it so strongly. I would, like, put money on it.
I'd be curious to hear what the guys say below.
So curious. Hey, I'm open to changing my mind. I have yet in my life or, like, in a friend's life been able to see anything otherwise.
Interesting.
Because
Man.
this explains, like, the whole like, when you really hit it off with a guy,
Mhm,
and,
mhm.
like, he's not asking me out. We have so much fun together. He's not asking me out. He doesn't ask okay, so, like, that can happen then, like, maybe he actually is interested in someone else. He's just, like, not that into you type of thing. That can be an explanation. But if he's not asking anybody else out, but he, like, clearly likes you, but he has no other motion in his dating life, it's just the fact that his cab light isn't on, like, that's, like, the explanation for it. So if you're, like, listening to this and you're thinking about that guy that always sits behind you at mass, that you guys, like, always talk after mass, and he's so cute, but he doesn't ask anybody out, and you're like, "Why?" He's, like, 25, like, he doesn't ask anyone out, this is why.
I love this conversation so much. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like a universal experience, but yeah, I'm sure you feel that a lot where you are and just seeing it so explicitly with jobs and people trying to pursue their goals and their dreams.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. Like I think that's so beautiful that you're so passionate about something. But I think as women, we're like, okay, we're ready. We're trying to find our person. And yeah, I think it's the saying is women wait for the right person where guys wait for the right time, which goes to the whole cat theory. And yeah, like it is just so interesting because as a girl, I'm like, okay, come on, like where are these guys who are available, who are ready, who have a good job, yes, but are able to be in a place where they can pursue. And then as a woman, you're just like, okay, I'm waiting. Like, where are you? And yeah, it can be hard. It's not easy out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like in the Midwest, there's a lot of there's guys at mass, but they aren't talking to girls? Like they aren't asking girls out on dates, like at socials and stuff?
I'm in the suburbs and there's just more families. But I will say that there have been masses I go to in the suburbs where I'm sitting by several men my age. But I think we're all just kind of in that mindset of, okay, you go to mass, you leave. People don't stay and pray after, people don't really socialize after. And yeah, you just kinda head out after mass, and it is different because when I was in Grand Rapids, I felt like people would sometimes stand at the back of mass and chat it out, but yeah, I wouldn't say guys are, like, actively talking to women their age, and if they are, it's like, I don't know, the usher who's, like, a Knights of Columbus and is married or, whatever it is, so it's just more
Mhm.
family-centered, I would say.
Mhm.
I've gone to church, like I said, in the city a few times, but just being in the suburb, it's pretty far away. And
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think I was so tired by the end of the week or even on a Sunday. I'm like, sometimes I'll go to the city, right? But then other times I'm like, I'm exhausted and I'm not going to
Yeah.
do this today. So, yeah, I feel like it's one of those things. I've talked about it on the podcast before. It's hard to trust when you know that your location could potentially be part of the reason as to why you're not meeting somebody. That is something I think about a lot, and I think a lot of my single friends think about that a lot too. A lot of the girls in the community say like, "Yeah, I wonder if I move somewhere else, would that help?" And I think that's why a lot of us are on the dating apps is because we're not talking to people, we're not meeting people. It's not even I would say, like, I'd be totally open to talking to people, but I feel like there's not even opportunities to talk to people. And if you are, it's like you're very much putting yourself out there to the point that you're like, this just feels awkward and
Yeah.
not natural. And so it's not even, again, it's not like you're not looking or you're not open. It's just that the atmosphere doesn't always lead to the proper moment to talk to somebody. Does that
Like,
make sense?
no,
Yeah.
it totally does because it would be so normal here to even if I didn't go to a super busy mass, if you see someone that you kind of want to talk to after mass, when you're leaving, you can basically just as a woman, I feel like you can basically just stand near the back of the church at the end of mass or stand outside the church and you just "Oh, have we met before?" And then you chat with them and it's not considered weird.
Yeah.
But if that's considered weird, then it's you have no chance, you know? You have to wait for some guy to do that. But if
Mhm.
the environment is not such that that's normal, he's not gonna do it even if he thinks you are beautiful. He'll just be thinking about you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So that's why even on social media, it's funny because sometimes you'll see reels where it's like, where are all the girls, where are all the guys at mass, like, whatever it is, where are all the young people at mass? And I'm like, we're here, but just maybe not the opportunity. And it's like you see the people around you who are your age, but again, yeah, there's like, I don't know, it's a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah.
yeah.
So interesting. Okay, well, this is so good. I'm so glad you guys were able to listen to one of our combos today. So, how can people stay up to date with you?
Yeah. So I am active on both TikTok and Instagram at Set Arnold. That is SETARNOLD. Set Arnold. So follow me there. And if someone wants to prove my cab theory wrong, let me know. But I've yet to see any evidence otherwise. But yeah, you can follow along with me there. I post a lot of Catholic content, New York City content, and stuff for the Catholic girlies. The guys are allowed. So yeah, so thank you for having me, Mary. It is always a blast to chat with you and to talk about boys and New York City and just life. So thank you.
Yeah, I love it. Love you, girl. Have a great day, and we hope you guys have a great Sunday.
Bye.